Yo, what's up? You got your man August Weather, aka Native Shades, and on the phone we got Madness, who
Yeah, what up?
recently. What's up, man? That's how you, man.
Good, man, good.
Yo, I heard that you was calling from work.
Yeah,
You a
man.
busy man. You a busy
On the
man.
grind, man, on the grind.
That's what's up. That's what's up. But yo, I wanted you to talk about your album that you recently did, Monsters in the Middle of the Night. Now, to me, that John was, I told you, that was one of the top albums that I've heard in a long, long time, man. I was
Good
really
looking,
feeling
good
it.
looking.
I was really feeling the albums. I thought the concepts was good. I thought the songs were, you know what I'm saying, really good. I thought the beats was amazing. So, I know to make your beats, you use the SP-808, which, a lot of, classic, old school hip hop heads love. They swear by the machine. They're like, it gives you that good analog sound and stuff. But with all the new technology now, I'm surprised that you're still, you use that to make to make your beats. With all the high tech stuff that you could use right now, like to make beats.
Yeah.
Why did you stay with the SP-808 and not really, you know what I'm saying? What's so special about that?
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? That you stuck with it to make an album.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's a generic answer, man. It's like you're limited only by your imagination. I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. If you're a creative person, you can make a beat basically working off of the most basic machine. I started making our beats on a Tascam analog 4-track machine that used a cassette tape. And those beats,
Wow.
if I listen to it now, I can still vibe off some of those beats. I mean, when I upgraded to the SP-808, it was a big step up, but it still was limited because it was still 4 tracks. So
Right.
if I wanted to make something complex, I really had to work around all the limitations and know all the tricks. And the SP-808 is a great all-in-one machine, man. I mean, I had a lot of fun using it, especially the built-in D-beam control that lets you just use the effects by just waving your hand over the light and shit. It was a lot of fun. And I made like 100 songs on this machine, man. It's definitely a classic.
Oh, okay. And I guess, so that's your main machine? Like you still stick with it and...
Yeah, I mean, as far as
Use it.
chopping up a sample and doing all that,
No.
that's my go-to machine. But when I want to refine everything and make it sound a little prettier, you know what I mean? That's when I use the Pro Tools and I go into Reason. I like the drums and everything, but still the basic chopping up of a sample and hitting those pads, man. You can't get better than the SP-808.
Okay, all right. So, what was your vision for the album?
All right, well, so what I really wanted to do for this album was just make something that anyone could connect with. Just give you something that was personal, that you could really understand what Madness is all about. So when I started making the beats for the album, I wanted to make sure I had all types of beats that I performed best on and I was most comfortable on. And for me, those beats are just like that. Those beats that bring out that emotion in you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And and that's the shit that I was just saying, that when you do your first 2 or 3 songs, that's when you really kind of get an idea of what direction you want to go in. So once I started making those beats and started making those songs, that's the first 3 or 4, I would say, that's when I started to really see the vision come to life.
Okay. No, because the album, it definitely is an emotional album. It definitely is really emotional. And I really like it because it sounds like real life shit like people go through.
Yeah.
So I think
exactly.
I think that was pretty dope. Now here's a question I like to ask, like, MCs and stuff, a lot of artists, like, as far as, because I'm big on this, as far as style. Like I'm always like, I love it when somebody has like their own original style and they bring it forth in their music, so to speak. And so I just want to ask you, like, how would you describe your style? Like, what would you say your style is?
Yeah, that's kind of a hard question, man. I think a lot of MCs will kind of give you that generic answer. and it's kind of hard to be original when you ask the question like this. But for me, my style is just showing that raw emotion. Like I said, man, you know, I'm an emotional rapper, and I don't mean that in a sensitive way where, you know, like I'm that dude just giving you that sensitive, soft shit. Obviously, there's a wide range of emotions, and even though I tend to lean on the darker side, I'm not afraid to touch on all the emotions. And you know, other rappers, they'll show you those certain emotions like anger and love and happiness, but they don't show you that stuff in between, like, you know, that feeling of fear or that real sadness or that feeling of being lost, or, you know, a little bit of that feeling of evil, you know, just being vulnerable. Those emotions that the average person feels, you know what I mean? Conveying that on the song, I think that's really powerful, man.
No, okay, yeah, you know, I could definitely feel you on that. I definitely feel you on that. Another question I wanted to ask you was, I find that most of the time, when one man makes an album or one artist makes an album, it sounds like one artist making an album. Meaning, like, everything just starts sounding the same. Like, every song sounds the same. The beats sound the same, and it kind of like, you know, you can tell it needs some variation, but they don't add it. But I must say, in the album that you just did, you know, in your album, Monsters in the Middle of the Night, that was really good, man. It didn't sound like one guy making an album. You know, I think it really kept the listener, you know, tuned in, because it was a lot of different things going on in there. So I just wanted to you know, try to find out, how did you make that happen?
Yeah, man. I mean, when you were just asking the question, I was just like thinking about albums that the solo artist did that I felt the same way, where it was just boring. And, you know, there's a lot of them out there, man. A lot of great albums too. A lot of great artists who've managed to make boring albums. And the reason is, and, you know, honestly, I kind of studied it in that way, where it's like, all right, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make it boring, where after track 5, I'll be like, all right, I heard this guy already. I'm done. He's going to sound the same in the next song. And, you know, I tried to avoid that by making sure that when I make these songs, I made each one sound a little different, whether that be with the beats or whether that be with my delivery. I made sure that everything that followed was a little different. And, you know, I don't mean that in like a really obvious way, but it could very well be just the way I sounded. Like, one song I'd come off a little deeper on the voice, and the next song I'd have a little more energy, and I'd be a little higher pitch on the voice. And, you know, same with the beats. One beat might be a little slower on a you know, a more melodic tip, and the next one will be more fast-paced, 90s headbanger. You know what I mean? So it's just I tried to space it out and spread it out, and strategically plan it that way, where each song sounded a little different.
Wow. Okay. Well, you definitely made it happen. Like I was saying, I was definitely feeling your album. Wanted to do this interview just to let people kind of get an idea on who Madnez is, and, you know, a little bit about what he's about and how he come about making this joint over here, Monsters in the Middle of the Night. Man, I was really feeling it. Hope to hear some more music from you, man. Hope to hear some more music from the kids, man.
I'm always in the studio, always making music, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today, man. And, yo, if anybody listening want to check out the album, you can always check it out on SoundCloud. Just search for Madnez 1, MADNEZ, with the number 1 at the end of it, and my stuff should pop up. The full album's there, Monsters in the Middle of the Night. Check it out. Leave me some feedback or whatever, man.
Yeah, man. Check that out, man. Check that out. But all right, man. I know you at your job and stuff. Don't wanna, you know what I mean, get you fired.
It's all good, man.
Right. All right, man. It was good talking to you, man.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right.
Catch you later.
Yes, sir.